You're listening to the Survivor Sweat Podcast with Mike Buckmiller and Russell Rosenblum. If you're looking for strategy articles and just about everything Survivor, head to survivorsweat.com. Now, let's get to it.
All right, welcome back to the Survivor Sweat Pod. We are remote this week as my partner in sweat is somewhere across the pond.
I think I said to Mike, if Green Bay somehow loses, I'm leaving the country.
That's right. And unfortunately, it wasn't the Bungalows this time, but it was.
Looked like them.
Damn. Yeah, so the Packers got us for 60% of our remaining entries, that is. And it was another great week for the Chalkers as the 13-point favorite, 13.5-point favorite that had 64.5% on them. You know, they get through. And the 13-point favorite with only 12% on them. Yeah, well, they lost.
Lots of sweat.
Yep. And as you can see, we are remote. My name is Mike Buckmiller. Alongside me, obviously, Russ Rosenblum. Well, actually, he's beside me this week. And we were the 2022 Circa Survivor champion. And we're going to have to have a little bit better run good if we're going to
dig in.
If we're going to get a shot at this thing, man, we are.
In fairness, in 2022, we were down to one pick in week 7. So,
yeah, that is true.
Still have a shot.
That's a run.
Chip in a chair. We
have more than a chip.
And since you alluded to it, I'm probably jumping ahead a bit, but you know, people, a lot of people chalky on the Rams, right? Last week, but the reality is, as you alluded to, when you look at it, both teams are basically the same size favorite.
Yeah,
maybe give or take half a point or something, right? So when you have that favorite and you have 64%, and this is why I always say to fade the chalk, right? And some people get it and some don't. And this is kind of what a drill in the point here, right? So of course, any NFL team can win, any NFL team can lose. I'm not clearly, right, the whole any given Sunday mantra. But the chances that either of those teams lose are effectively the same. I don't know what the money line is, but they're effectively the same. And so at the end of the day, even if you believed the Packers should have only been 11.5-point favorite as opposed to 13. Still, the probability they're going to lose the game is almost exactly the same from a money line perspective, right? So at that point, at least if you're in the spot where only 12% have the team, when one of them loses, so not half the time, but you know, whatever percentage of the time they're going to lose 10%. So 5% of the time when the other team loses, I've lost 60% of the field. The 5% of the time my team loses, but your team wins, you only lost 12% of the field. So it's such a different, and that's almost the perfect spot to illustrate where you want to set yourself up to not be in a position where you have to be on that 60% team. And as you said, Mike, as I think you said, David Baker noted on last Saturday's show, this isn't fluky. We positioned ourselves for weeks and weeks and weeks for this spot.
Correct.
Like this was the spot we wanted. It's not just a fluky thing. Oh, good, we have the Packers and maybe no one will take them. We took other teams at other points so we would have the Packers here when other people would.
Absolutely.
It didn't work out.
It was a dream scenario. This is as a Survivor pool participant, you want these spots. You look for these spots and you plan ahead for these spots. As I said on the Saturday Night Sweat show, our play on the Packers was determined in week 6 when everybody was on the Packers and we were on the Rams. We just flip-flopped. Of course, you know, the Rams, you know, they had a chance to go down there against the Bengals. They did not. Excuse me, the Packers.
Right.
We get through, and we're waiting for this spot. So you have 2 opportunities to chop half the field. I believe there was 54% that were on the Packers in week 6. And now you flip-flop, and here it is, 64.5% on the Rams. It didn't go our way.
Didn't go our way. Great spot. Like for those of you that play poker, you know, you can wake up with the pocket aces and get it all in pre-flop. So I'm not even, you know, talking about post-flop play. And at that point, you got to forget about it. You win or you lose, right? You're going to lose. You're going to lose, you know, maybe 15% of the time based on what you're up against. And that's okay. I mean, it sucks when you lose. And when you lose, you'll, you know, frequently people go, I wish I never got aces. I always go broke with aces, blah, blah, blah. But before that hand is dealt, you don't go, oh, please don't show me aces. You go, show me aces. And what you often say is with the aces, though, is please let me get it all in pre. I only want to make one decision here, right? I don't want to have to like decide in the flop turn river. And that's kind of the same thing here. We had the opportunity. So when the opportunity came up to take the Packers, we did. Now, That said, we did pull back. There was one spot we couldn't take them. There was another spot we could take them, and we decided not to. Just a little bit of a hedge. And we also didn't want to be par on the other team we were selecting, which was the Chargers. And we didn't want to end up, we would have been over either way on the Packers, and we would have been basically par with the Chargers. So we decided we wanted to be over with both, which turned out to be fortunate because then at least we advanced. Now, that said, that's results oriented. The Chargers could have lost, and we would have said we wasted a pick. Right. So and usually those are the ones you remember. Oh, we waste all these picks. Why don't we just go with where we're supposed to be, as opposed to the spray and pray. Right. So you remember when you waste them. You usually don't remember when they're the ones that helped you squeeze through.
Yeah. In this case, I do.
Yeah. No. At least for now.
Yes. So let's recap week 9. 289 hit the skids. 90.5% of the entire pool has been eliminated through week 9. For the first time all year, all the picks were submitted. So yay. Yes. Awesome. 1,769 out of the original 18,718 entries remain in the winner take all 18 and some change. That change is 718,000. And wow. Not only did we hit the skids there, 2 people hit the skids with the Packers in Grandissimo.
Yep. And there, again, talk about it.
Oh, talk about that spot. We knew, or at least I looked in advance, we discussed that 2 were available to take the Packers, and they were 100% going to take them. They must have felt that they were just in such a great spot there. And 10 could take the Rams, 8 chose to, and 3 deviated and moved away over there to the Chargers. And yeah, pretty good spot for the Packers and Chargers there. Chargers do get through. Packers, of course, doesn't work for them. You just you make it this far, you find a spot like that. I mean, I would just be gut wrenched. And I believe if we were still in Grandissimo, we had the Packers for this spot too.
Yeah, I'm sure we did. The only thing that would always be the question is if you had 2 picks left in Grandissimo, and you were the only 2 that had the Packers left, would you put them both in the Packers? Or your 2 plus one other guy had the Packers available, would you put them on the Packers? Would you spread them out? I don't know. It's easy to say whatever. It's hard to often push the button. I think you'd probably split them up. I really don't like taking 2 picks in the same spot in the NFL. It's just, again, any team can lose.
Yeah, and you can tell there's already some gamesmanship going on in this contest. I saw on the Twitter feed, I believe it was Sammy of Sadist, which is he ended up taking the Rams. I don't know if you could see this selection.
Yeah, I see it.
There.
I see him there, yeah.
Okay, yep. And he reached out and asked Benson if it was good. Can they let the public know?
I don't care. Right. I'm sure
who they picked prior. And we saw that a few years back.
We did.
Where a few were posting their picks with very little participants left, and to try to persuade people to stay off them. And when I saw that, in my mind, I went, oh, he's taking the Rams because he's going to try to, and maybe it helped. Maybe it caused 2 of them to, bounce over to the Chargers. Not sure. But
it's hard to know. Now, it's interesting if you had the Packers, and again, let's say you had 1 Packers and somebody else also had 1. Well, the Packers, everybody knows they're taking anyway. But if it was a little bit more obscure, like say the Chargers, right? Mm-hmm. I think there's more value in saying I'm taking the Chargers because it is possible that somebody is taking the Chargers hoping they're on an island. Sure. Now, if they know they're not on an island, maybe they're a little less likely to take them, which could leave you on the island.
Sure.
Right. That would be the hope.
No, absolutely.
Because even with 3 on the Chargers, you said how many peeled off the Rams?
2.
Right. So the Chargers could have been on an island if everybody just went with the Rams.
Yeah, for sure. And as I'd mentioned before, if you are in the main event and not in Grandissimo, it's really interesting. I mean, you're getting a education right here of the final 15, final 13, now down to final 11, and you can try to see how this is being played out. So when you're down, who knows? You could be down in week 17B, 17A, and even into week 18, and you can have this many entrants or maybe even less, and you can try to see what's going on and how to play this out and the gamesmanship through social media or not, So
you're absolutely right, because percentages matter in terms of your equity. But at the end of the day, like, again, when you have 150 people left in the main, you feel close compared to 18,000, but you're not, right?
No.
When you have, whatever it is, 11 now left in Grandissimo, you are somewhat close. And the reason is because the availability of gamesmanship that just doesn't work with 100 entries. It doesn't matter. If you announce, I'm taking whatever, it's not really meaningful with 100 other entries in with you. When there are 11, it could really matter. So the gamesmanship really does make a difference, and there's a higher probability you could wake up on a Sunday night or Monday night and find out either you need to win the whole thing, or someone else needs to win, or you'll win the whole thing.
Sure,
and you'll have lots of hedge opportunities.
Absolutely, and so you can mentally think about where you're going to be in terms of hedge, and all those things, because with 11 left, I mean, we've seen the last 3 weeks, any game could get down to 2, 3, 5. And at that point, you may be able to create, make a save and play for the remaining balance. You might be able to, make a deal. Who knows? Maybe not. But anyways, it's not often you get down. It's like getting to you play in these poker tournaments, and sometimes you don't get a chance to get to these final tables. And then when you do, it's a whole different game at the final table. Right. And then when you get down to, sub 5 and 4, the ICM and all those things that come into play. And it's just a chance to get those mental reps in, so that if you do get a chance to find yourself with 11 left in the main with 18 million at stake, man, it's good to go through that prior.
It is. And like you said, you got to be ready. It's like playing in like you said, the final table of poker tournament, but it's almost like they tell you it's going to be in 2 days, then change your mind and say you're playing tonight.
Yeah.
If you know this is going to end in week 20, and that's when you have to make your decisions, you pace yourself. If you know the final table's in 2 days, you'll think about it in 2 days. Here, you just don't know. It could be in 4 hours.
Yeah, so at 4 p.m. on the Survivor Sweat platform, we post the percentage projections of where we think the public will land, along with our selections for the week. We posted, we thought between 45 and 50% would be on the Rams. In the back of my mind, I thought they might even get higher, but sometimes you just don't want to put yourself too far out there. Right. They land at 64%. I'm jumping for joy. Chargers, we had at 19.4%. The public had 19.4%. We had between 20 and 25. We were right around the landing spot there at the floor. We thought Packers 15 to 20%. When it was 12, it really didn't matter what happened on Sunday. I felt like we hit this so perfectly. And then as it turns out, it did matter, because the 13-point favorite has to win. And, we also thought those 3 teams could consume 90 to 95% of the picks, 96.7% of the picks. And so, as Russ alluded to, we did have some Chargers. Our Packers are gone. We're almost down to the felt. And I don't know how long we can keep fading this chalk, man. I mean, we're just going to continue.
Keep trying. Insofar as we can. There could be a week that we may not be able to. This could be one of them. I'm not sure. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, Nick, do we have any past champions, last year's champions in this thing?
There's a little bit. Yeah. C3 Picks got 1 through with the Chargers. C3 Picks has 1 alive. Dream Stakes still has 2 alive. I was talking about that last week. Got both of them through with the Rams. The Meatball Brothers, aka the Amigos and or Comrades, still have 2 alive. They got 2 through with the Rams and 1 through with the Packers on Saturday.
1 through nowhere, with the Packers.
1 flipped on the Packers.
We got it. We know.
On Saturday, I was actually hanging out with the Meatball Brothers at Circa, and they told me who they were taking just a little bit before the contest locked, and they were pretty confident in the Packers. So I don't think they can be too upset about that. But
you can be upset.
You can be upset. There's nothing you can do about it.
That's a different thing. Different question.
And then Pumbaa Pack, 1 alive, got it through with the Rams. So that's where everybody's sitting. So once again, good on you, Dream Stakes, because
good stuff there. They are still alive. They went with the Rams, but now they no longer have a Ram. Yeah. And that's a wrap for week 9. We'll look ahead to week 10 on the other side of the break, and see where we might land and where everybody else might land. So we'll catch you after the break.
See you in a minute.
couldn't have imagined that it would happen. To be here today and collect this check.
This is amazing.
Do you have what it takes to win the biggest football handicapping contest in Las Vegas? If you live out of state but want to enter either the Circa Sports Millions or the Circa Survivor contest, you've come to the right place.
But do you not live in Las Vegas? There's a solution with Survivor Sweat. Place from anywhere in any of the biggest sports contests. Fly to Las Vegas and schedule an appointment to get signed up. Can't make it to Vegas? Just buy an entry form from the marketplace. Either way, submit your picks each week into the contest using Survivor Sweat Proxy.
Kudos to Circa, Survivor Sweat, and everybody else.
Once in a lifetime experience. Thank you.
With over 20 million in guaranteed prizes, you can sweat small, win big. Visit survivorsweat.com or call for more information.
All right, we are back. Look ahead to week 10. Russ, as you take a look at these percentages in the board, what does anything stand out, or
as usual, right? Same cast of characters, kind of week after week that we think we're going to like here. I mean, although there is one somewhat new addition, I don't know how many people are really going to like them, but they look like they could be chalky. We got the Denver Broncos against the spectacular Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
Where we had somebody, we were at the Raiders game last week. That was quite a treat. And we had somebody that I would call, I hope he's not listening. Well, if he is, a delusional Jaguars fan. You know, they're like one player away from like back-to-back Super Bowls or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, they got the big win. And in his opinion, it's a huge win. This, validates how good they are. They should be 6-0 or something. I'm like, dude, these are two bad teams. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, so, yeah, you got Denver playing the Raiders. You've got Carolina playing New Orleans, where Carolina looks like they can now be a little bit chalky. Like, how bad is New Orleans that you could have, a quarter of the field jumping on Carolina after watching them beat Green Bay? I mean, they're clearly better than New Orleans, but I mean, how warm and fuzzy do you feel in that spot ever with any of those kind of teams? And then you get, maybe people look at Buffalo, maybe people look at Seattle, and there's just a really, really steep drop off from there. And then in terms of the quality of these teams, obviously Buffalo is a legitimate team, despite, I remember a couple of weeks ago on Saturday, I think Paulie was saying, maybe they're done. Like, they got 2 losses. They're fine than the Bills. You got Detroit, but they got special week value. And you've got, Denver again. So it's just, like I said, the same cast of characters, unless you're really looking at taking Carolina versus New Orleans.
Yeah, and then, Baltimore's in there at Minnesota, 66% market win rate. But, man, you can see with ownership percentages that most people have those saved for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah.
So to your point, same cast of characters. The interesting thing here is Denver has a 32% ownership, Buffalo 31%, Seattle 45%. Obviously, it looks 99%. I guess one lonely soul took Carolina somewhere. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see, who unloads.
I mean, I guess, and I sorted by a different column. I guess if you have them available still, which is like 2 people or something, and you're willing to fade them on the neutral field, I mean, Indy, you're not going to have very many people taking them.
Sure.
Very few people have them. And they are still, almost the touchdown favorites. They're 6.5-point favorites in this game. They've probably got some of the best EV. I think Detroit has better EV, but you have other spots that you need them. Indy really don't.
You can watch the game in normal time. It'll be a night game for you.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Maybe we just have to be on that game for that reason.
I don't think we have any Colts available. I'll tell you why.
We have Atlanta. We could take Atlanta. Just take the other side so I can watch the game.
Oh, God. No. Well, first of all, I don't really care about clipping 2%. But beyond that, I mean, we were just ahead of the market there on the Colts. And now, I mean, obviously most people have spent them by now. But, I mean, Buffalo has some future value, of course. Detroit, those special weeks. Denver has a couple spots, week 13, week 14, again with the Raiders. But they aren't favored to win at a percentage as they are right now. It's just right. That dreaded Thursday game, So if you're one of the 32% of the individuals that can take them, Are you excited about Thursdays? Do you care about Thursdays?
I'm not excited. Thursdays, the whole home away thing, I don't care about that much, as Green Bay has demonstrated. Thursdays, I think, always create more variance. I mean, you just got guys on shorter rest, which means if they were banged up, they may not be able to play. And if they were, a little nicked up, which is the NFL, you always are, they may be able to play, but they may just take a small hit that normally wouldn't have been that big a deal that now takes them out of the game, right? And that can be a real problem. Now, of course, that applies to both teams. So it applies equally. But when you're the worst team, you're looking for variance. You're looking for crazy things that's why you're supposed to be gambling more when you're the worst team in a spot.
Sure.
Right? You're probably going to lose anyway, whether you lose by 20 or lose by 7, doesn't matter. So you kind of want to gamble up a little bit. So the Thursday games always make me nervous. We haven't had a lot of success with them, but sometimes you have to take them. I don't know if this will be that week or not, but if you're torn between 2 games and you're flipping coins, I probably avoid Thursday. But if you think the Thursday is a much better spot based on what you have available, you just got to go with it and hope for the best.
And then you got an interesting spot here with Seattle at home versus Arizona. Seattle looks pretty dang good. They beat Arizona at Arizona earlier in the year. That was with Kyler Murray. Now, Jacoby Brissett looked pretty good on Monday night.
Yeah, I don't know how much that matters, the Kyler Murray thing at this point. Yeah.
Dallas
is another team. Like, what are they? Are they just more frauds? Is everybody a fraud? Who's not a fraud? Who's left?
He's got a fraud. Yeah. So Seattle
lost to Minnesota. I don't think much of Minnesota.
Yeah. But they beat Detroit. It's just this week-to-week stuff. So here's the second time around in a division game. Obviously, now with Jacoby Brissett, who knows? Their offense looks more efficient with them. But again, we're definitely going to have to see it against another defense other than the Cowboys.
That's what I was just about to say, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you saw the Cowboys defense? I must have missed it.
Oh.
No, I got bluffed.
Wasn't much defense to see. That was pretty unimpressive. You definitely got bluffed on the Cowboys.
So I think your big EV spots here is Detroit. If you can stomach it, if you have a path through somewhere else, obviously without their starting quarterback now, low ownership, maybe off the bounce back loss. And then you got Buffalo at Miami. I mean, they traded away their best defensive end.
Or again, Indy's got good EV if you have them.
Sure. They absolutely have great EV. If you are one of those lucky 2% that can use them, great spot there. So Detroit, Indy, Buffalo would be good spots. Maybe you sit back and see what the carnage is, if anything, with Denver. Or if you can stomach those Panthers, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's not a big EV spot, but it's a spot where if you can use them, man, your ticket looks pretty dang good moving forward.
So just out of curiosity here, since I'm sitting on my home computer,
and look, it's funny. We've taken the other side of this from time to time, but as was pointed out to me a few years ago, if you watch that Thursday game and Denver loses and you assume there's about a quarter of the field on Denver, as it's been said to me before, if one of the chalk team loses, you can go ahead and take the remaining chalk. Isn't that bad? You've already lost 25% of the field. We've often taken, a different tact. We'll then go even deeper, try to, double dip, do it again. But whichever method you decide, you're right. Value in seeing the outcome of the Thursday game if you have an assumption that 20 to 25% are going to be on one of these teams.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah. I was wondering how Carolina had the 99% ownership. It was week 5, 11 entries got through with Carolina, and that was the big carnage week where the Rams and the Cardinals lost. So yeah, some people used them in that bloody week, but that's why they're 99% and not 100.
Yeah, and it's probably because they sprayed the board, and they may have been on the chalk and had a few off to the side. So good for them. They got a nice ticket moving forward. Speaking of special weeks and looking ahead, I wanted to discuss the flip-flop in percentages. And Russ, I know you spoke about this, the Commanders. The Cowboys are now 51% favorites for Christmas.
Oh, man, here we go. This is like last year with Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so no, this is, exactly, with Thanksgiving. So looking beyond Thanksgiving, you have the Chiefs 69% versus the Broncos. Lions 63% versus the Vikings, and now the Cowboys have flip-flopped, and it's the first time all year that they have now edged ahead. Granted, it's a coin flip, about 51% over there, and the Ravens keep jumping higher and higher on this Thanksgiving slate, up to 83%. Eagles 73%, Chiefs 70%, and the Lions sitting there at 63%. So definitely more options for that Thanksgiving. Not a lot of options for Christmas.
Nope.
Looking ahead. Yes. Crazy.
No surprise. And we'll still see. People have to stay healthy, or you never know what those options actually are.
That was about to be my question. How much more flip-flopping for these holiday slates do you think we're going to see in between now and Thanksgiving?
It just depends. If there are injuries,
it's impossible to tell.
Yeah.
No injuries play
consistent.
Huge role here. Injuries. If something would happen to Hurts, or
don't
who knows with the Eagles, you can see the Bears edging closer to that percentage of a higher win rate. Packers, Lions have flip-flopped back, and early on the Packers were like the team. Lions have always been pretty good, but now they're 63%. I don't see a world, but maybe a world where something happens to Mahomes, maybe the Cowboys edge up there. Not sure. Not sure. So
well said.
Yeah. So
Cowboys have just been dangerous anyway. Dangerous to take and dangerous to go against them.
Seriously.
You may not have a choice, but they're never really warm and fuzzy on either side of a Cowboys game.
Yeah. Before I popped on here, I looked over at the marketplace. The current implied value in the main is 10,581, and in Grandissimo now it's 627,000 and some change. But what I did notice, no Grandissimo entries over there. So I'm not sure. If anybody had any interest, maybe they missed the boat. Not sure. Maybe they sold off some. Maybe they like their spot down to 11. Not sure. But Nick, what are you hearing over there at the marketplace?
Yeah, I mean, you just said it for the Grandissimo. And then the current implied value in the main is 10,581. And, James says it almost every week on our Saturday night sweat show. There's a lot of stuff for sale over there. We're breaking records every single week. So go over there and see, what's in your price range, or if you like anything. But
find a new price range.
Yeah, I see things ranging from 1% or to 99% if you want that pick control. The last sale in the main, the last sale was 13,500 for 95%. So you're going to get pick control there. And so the average entry sold, I guess, they're showing $9,099, so $9,100. But if there's an entry over there that you like, if you went out with the Packers and you want to get back in, that there's your chance.
And you could always make an offer again. If you don't like 9,900, offer something else.
I am on the marketplace right now. I scrolled all the way down. There is 2% of one of the Grandissimo picks for sale for 16,000. If you guys would like to ride along with that.
Yeah, that's definitely new, because in the last 60 minutes I popped on there and that wasn't there. So that's good news. So for people that are interested in getting in. And just looking at the availabilities and the popularity this week, I think you're going to be sprayed with Buffalo only having 31%, Denver 32%, Seattle 45%. I mean, you can get a third chopped out of this pool, and the math will say a third will be chopped out of this pool. Actually, we'll see.
Probably, yeah. I mean, you were looking at basically 3 different spots that should have 20% plus.
Yeah. And Nick, tell us a little bit about the Survivor Sweat Saturday Night Sweat lineup.
Yeah, I was thinking
3
about
in the morning for me. Forget about it.
Yeah. I mean, as you guys have probably, could already tell with us, we're pretty connected just in the poker world and in the Survivor content creator world. So expect the usual suspects that you've seen before. By and large, we're always pretty much going to have Paulie Howard or Mitch Moss on the show, which like I've said a bunch of times before, I'm a follow the money fanboy. So I'm happy about that. And amongst other poker players and Vegas people. So
I like just hearing the different, ways to go about playing this contest.
Like Richie last week.
Yeah. Brett Ritchie. I mean, he was just matter of fact, math based. This is how he's going to play it. And then you have others that are just in the weeds trying to break down games and more of, a game analyst and those type of things. And then, I mean, just all over the map on how you play this contest. And so, I think it's important to have the skill set of a little of everything, or a lot of everything. But it's great to have different opinions on there, and just, you learn a lot, and it's just fun to, speak the contest, of course, after the stress of pushing the button. So speaking of push the button, there was a question at Joseph Kelly 8634. Can you change your pick before the deadline? And I know, Russ, you've discussed this before.
You can change your mind if you haven't put it in yet. No, this is, well, again, if you use a proxy, the proxy will have its own deadline that you can change your mind prior to, which will be before the pick deadline, but it will still give you that ability to change it. And no, we've talked about that a lot. If you put your pick in on Friday night, wake up Saturday morning, find out your starting quarterback's not going, you better hope your backup's good, because you can't change it. Once it's in, it's in. Yeah. It's something pretty much everybody wishes Circa would change. And I think even Circa wishes they could change it. I think it's a software issue. But it is what it is, and they've been very clear about the rules. Cannot change it.
Yeah, once it goes in the app, you're done. There's nothing you can do. You push that button, it's over. And
you can't drive down there. You can't beg. You can't do whatever. It's no.
Yeah. And to your point, there are some proxies that have a deadline on Friday because they have a plethora of picks to put in. I think in some cases, there are some proxies that have a service where you can upgrade and pay a little extra, and then you have a longer time frame up till, I think, maybe 2:00 on Saturday. And
no, it makes sense. And look, people thinking the proxies are being greedy, the reality is, early in the season, they might be putting in 1,000, 2,000 picks. If they don't start till 2:00, they may not even get them in.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Right. So, like, if they're going to say, okay, we're going to put in yours later, they got to have people around to do it. So that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know Survivor Sweat just in particular. So if you're wondering about this and you don't use the Survivor Sweat proxy, call them, check with your own proxy. But at least on the proxy side of things for Survivor Sweat, the deadline is noon on Saturday, because, James and all of them, they still need potentially 4 hours to put them in. So.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Let's let Russ get some rest. He's a little jet lagged over there, but
a little bit.
Not only the tough Green Bay loss, but the tough travel. And thank you for taking the time, as always.
Absolutely.
Hit us up on X at mbuckmiller or at rosenblumr or at survivorsweat.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the pod, and of course, get those picks in as you finally did last week.
Exactly. Get that remaining pick in if you still have it.
Yep. All right. So until next week, hopefully we survive. Hope you survive. I have a feeling there's going to be some carnage this week.
You say that every week.
Yeah, I just hope it isn't going to be us anymore.
Me too. At this point, it's not even carnage for us. It's more like a nick. That's all that's left. But yeah, nothing personal, Nick.
Yeah,
not taken.
All right.
All right.
Until next time, we'll see you next week.
Looking for Survivor strategy articles? Did you lose your last entry on a Survivor contest and wish you could rebuy? Check out our marketplace and you may find what you need. Head over to survivorsweat.com for all things Survivor. And we'll see you next week for the next Survivor Sweat podcast.